Thank you, Professor Dong. I'm Arun. I head the cyber program at ORF. Since Dhaval and Professor Dong have already welcomed you to the forum, let me not do that again, but to say thank you for turning up, especially to our participants from China who I have known have faced many hurdles, including not the least of which is the visa granting process that happens to be a special legacy of the Indian system. But thank you for turning up, and to the Indian participants, thank you for making time to come here. My small responsibility here is to tell you a bit about what we are doing with regards to the tech program at ORF and why we are doing the forum. Professor Dong also already mentioned some of the deliberations that went into the creation of this forum, and where we, more importantly, go to plan to take the forum from here. Sometime in 2016, I had a chance to visit the China Institute of Reform and Development, which is a think tank based in Haikou, in the island province of Hainan in China. And so I've been to China a couple of times, and the visit to CIRD was especially interesting because this was probably the first time, and the only time I would say, that you heard participants, both from the Chinese side as well as the foreign delegates who gathered, talking about the virtues of having a free market, of deregulating the market forces, and having a more sophisticated system of managing supply and demand in the market. All things that I was surprised by, given the fact that there were a lot of government officials from China and from other countries participating. So the strong advocacy of a more deregulated market economy took me by surprise. And I asked one of the organizers of the CIRD, why am I hearing it in China, in CIRD, and why have I not heard this more in Beijing? And he offered me a very interesting explanation, which is that Haikou is an island province and far from Beijing. CIRD was set up with the express view of maintaining some distance from Beijing and to experiment with new ideas and new thoughts, with the view that a political associate or a think tank that is based in Beijing may not be able to easily grasp or capture because of the proximity to the corridors of power. And I think it was an interesting explanation, and I think that is actually some of the reasons, one of the main reasons why the India-China Tech Forum that's organized by ORF and Peking University is happening in Bombay and not in Delhi. There are certain political considerations that influence any bilateral relationship, and that is true for India and China as well. And some of these political considerations are beyond the control of any and all in this room. What we can do as scholars and entrepreneurs and people who think about regulations and the future of the digital economy in India and China is to ensure that these conversations, which happen at a very high political level sometimes, are informed and based on concrete assessments of what's happening on the ground. And that's really the reason why the Tech Forum, as Professor Dong mentioned, has been brought together. We have today a group of exceptional scholars and entrepreneurs from, and lawyers, of course, from both delegations. And once again, thank you for coming. We hope to have a fruitful series of discussions on subjects that are important to China and India. From the Indian side, we hope that our Chinese friends will take a more serious view of what's happening in the Indian digital economy, which is rapidly growing. But I understand for many reasons you are focused on what's happening in your own domestic digital economy and not necessarily clued in to what's happening, say, in India or another emerging market. So please treat this as an opportunity to know more about what is happening here. To our Indian colleagues, we have been unfortunately and perilously underexposed to what is happening in China, whether it is on cutting-edge technological developments that is happening in China's digital economy, or some of the social and political and cultural undercurrents that shape the creation of the Chinese digital economy. This, I think, is frankly one of the few opportunities that I have been fortunate to be part of, where we have had such a rich depth of expertise from China and a group of Chinese scholars and entrepreneurs that we have been able to bring together in India. So please make use of the opportunity to talk to them, not just within the confines of the panels and the Q&A that follows, but in the corridors during the coffee breaks that follow sessions. By all means, talk shop. If your objective in being here is talk shop, this is the only public forum. What happens tomorrow stays here at the Ji Xianren Center. So please make use of all the opportunities to network with your Chinese counterparts, whether they are working at universities or in startups. With that, and brief, notes of guidance, let me thank you once again for this. Let me especially thank the team from ORF Bombay and Dhaval in particular for putting this together. My role has only been to come from Delhi and to offer you this welcome and to thank you all for turning up once again, and to Professor Dong, who has done an outstanding job of gathering this very impressive group from China. Thank you once again. Let me now invite the panelists for the first session.